this is Pam Reese with Adventures in Aging, and I'm here with my friend
Gary Vandenberg. Pam, it's great to be back. Want to thank our sponsor, Stridelight. Stridelight.net provides quality diabetic shoes, custom inserts, orthotics, all lower extremity needs. For over 20 years, they've been providing quality feet-related products. Please mention the Stridelight to your doctor or podiatrist for the best solutions for your feet. Thank you, Stridelight, Stridelight.net. Pam, what is today's topic?
So, Gary, what makes you blush?
Oh, there's a lot of things that make me blush.
So there is this unwanted attention that we all have gotten in our lives. It's not a fun experience, especially if you did something that makes you feel embarrassed.
Absolutely. Sometimes you get caught, right?
Yes.
Doing something.
You get caught doing something that you're unaware of sometimes.
Or sometimes you've lied and you've gotten caught too.
Ooh.
I've gotten that a few times.
Oh my.
Yes.
Or sometimes you may think you know something.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And you don't.
And
right?
you don't.
And you don't.
And you're called out.
And there are some great examples as we dive into this that I can share.
So we are talking about the most embarrassing moments. And that can be anything that's embarrassing to you.
Right. And so a couple came to mind.
Oh,
should I start diving right into this?
Let's dive in.
Well, I know that, probably one of my earliest ones was I was in kindergarten. And
okay, you remember back.
Oh, my God. Well, this stays with you.
All right.
And I have to go to the bathroom really bad.
Oh,
right?
no.
Number one.
Am I going to feel bad for you?
No.
Okay.
And so it's here at kindergarten, it's too late, right? So I'm sitting on the floor.
Yes.
And in my puddle, right?
Oh.
That's the only way to describe it.
Oh.
And this guy named Louis, all right? Never forget his name. He was in charge of watering plants that day. Well,
okay.
Louis's got his little thing that he's going to go water the plants with, and he sees the puddle I'm sitting in.
Oh.
And he thinks that he has missed watering the plants, that he's going to get in trouble.
So now he's commenting.
He's commenting that it's not his water, that he's poured all over the floor.
He knows you wanted to
under
tell
Gary.
him to be quiet.
He has to make it louder and louder that it's not his fault that there's water all over the floor on Gary's butt.
And you just want to vanish from the face of the earth.
Yeah. Many years later, I'm still living with that.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
As Louis goes, it's not my fault. I didn't miss the water and the plants.
Oh my gosh. And it affects you to this day.
Oh yeah. I think the second one that came to mind right away was being excited, some family get together like the holidays, and I burst into the bathroom to find Grandma sitting on the toilet, right? Now, her look and my look, we both knew we'd never erase this ever in our lives again.
You cannot get that out of your mind for the rest of your life.
And years later, like 30 years later, I burst in the bathroom, only find my boss in the bathroom. And we had that same look at each other's eyes, like, we'll never forget this.
Do you ever bring it up? Like later, do you say, hey, sorry?
No, you go through the rest of your life as if that didn't happen.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But you both know, and you cringe your way through life.
Yes. So back to school, one of my embarrassing moments that I'll never forget was I was actually a freshman in high school, right? Brand new at the high school, kind of cool. Right. You're a big kid now. It was like the first or second day of school. And, I don't know what I wore, but you're probably right. I thought I looked good. Right. I thought everything was cool. Well, lo and behold, apparently those seniors, they all line up in the hallway before lunch, just gabbing, talking, hanging out. Right. So us freshmen would have to walk between them, between the lineup. Yeah. And sometimes some things were said, sometimes things weren't. So lo and behold, I was running late for lunch, and I was walking incredibly fast in whatever I had on. And there was a banana peel on the floor. One of them put a banana peel.
And you slipped on a banana peel?
Gary, like out of a cartoon. I slipped on that banana peel and I went down like a ton of bricks, and I actually slid a little as I'm trying to catch myself in front of the senior lineup.
Oh gosh. And
there's the girl. There's the one.
What a way to start your school.
Oh, so embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple I had in high school that, I'll never forget. One was somehow buddies of mine, we're going to a class and they pushed me by accident into a fire alarm. Right? Don't ever have that happen. And my finger pulls the alarm down. The whole school,
Gary, what your hand just happened.
The whole school's in the hallway. People are running around.
Yeah.
I don't know if firemen showed
It's
up.
kind of a federal offense, right?
Now it becomes like, who did it? We've narrowed it down to this one area, and I'm sitting there for, it seemed like forever as they're narrowing down who did it. Who pulled that fire alarm.
Did you confess?
Well, finally, everyone's looking at me, right?
Oh, so they all knew you did it.
Yeah. That's
oh, my gosh.
by accident. The second one was another classic, too. And again, these things you try to erase, but you never do.
Yes.
And I had a really small high school. There's only like 80 of us in our class, right?
Right.
And so my girlfriend at the time, we decided we're tired of being at school. Let's skip tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And so no one will know.
Right.
No one will pay any attention.
Oh, my gosh.
So Charlene, I'll never forget Charlene in the office.
Gary and Charlene.
Charlene was somebody working in the office.
Okay.
So Charlene, she holds up the two people missing in school, says, I think Gary went to get married today. Right?
What?
Yeah, isn't that hilarious?
Oh, my gosh.
Next thing you know, bells and whistles, mom's getting called, parents getting called.
No.
We're just sitting around, who knows what, we were goofing off at the mall or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we got in so much trouble. It was so embarrassing. And then you're trying to talk your way out of this stuff. You know,
the worst part is trying to get out of the embarrassment. That's as embarrassing as the moment.
It goes to a lie is on top of a lie is another lie. How's
a
that
lie
sound?
on top of a lie. Oh my gosh.
And then the third one that always comes to mind is Todd's graduation party. I'd only been to Todd's house like once before.
Okay, right? Todd, your friend.
Yeah,
obviously.
Todd. Hey, graduation. Hey, come over to my graduation. Oh, okay. I'll stop at a few places.
Yeah.
So I go over to Todd's house. I remember playing cards there. And I go into the front door, and here's a bunch of people. This is great. And I'm over and I'm eating the sandwich. I'm putting things together and everything. And I'm going, wow. The weird thing is I don't see anyone I know here. Right?
Okay.
At Todd's
Gary.
party, right?
Oh.
So this guy comes over to me and says, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah. Where's Todd? Where's Todd?" And he goes, "Todd lives next door."
You were at the wrong kids.
I didn't know who these people were.
Oh, Gary. So this reminds me of last summer. I was watching my grandsons, and one of my little grandsons had a baseball game.
Right.
So I had to take him, actually got him to the right team. I'm watching him. He's up to bat. I'm screaming and yelling like the dutiful grandma. I'm so excited for that child. Come on, Jameson. You can do it. You can do it. He hits the ball. He's running. Run, Jameson, run. He gets around first. He goes to second. He's safe. I'm so proud of you, Jameson. Good job. And then.
Was it him?
That wasn't Jameson.
I hope somebody looked at you.
That was not Jameson.
Oh.
Jameson, in his horror and embarrassment at 8 years old, is sitting on the bench, not up yet, looking at me like, could you please stop? And that child's mom said, thank you for being such a rooter for my... But his name is Robbie. So... Oh, my gosh, so embarrassed.
Well, we had something, this was in church, and this was probably about 10 years ago. And what ended up happening was somehow when you go through like First Communion, at least in our church, you get a name. You get chosen a different, name, a different special name. And here it's about time for Mike. This is the practice round. It's about time for him to go up and get his practice, walking up and all that. And my wife looks at me and says, you're taking him up, right? I said, well, what's his name, right?
Yeah.
So she says something. I can't understand what she's saying.
Oh, my gosh.
At all.
And you're just learning this right now.
Yeah. So then, now it's time for row 7, get up, So we all get up, we go stand up there, and I have now put your hand on his right shoulder, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what will his name be?
Oh, Gary, no.
There's a church full of, his practice thing goes,
yeah.
I said, Afrikia, right? And so.
You made it up.
And the lady looks at me going, Afrikia? I said, I think that's the name. I turn around and, it's some other name that isn't even close to a freakia. So that was a cringe moment in front of, 100 or couple hundred people.
Yeah, how funny.
Oh, and then the other thing that I'm on a roll here now.
No, Gary, I love your stories. Keep going.
So my kids are small. They're like, 2 years old and 5 years old and 7 years old, some ages like this.
Yeah.
And she decides she needs a vacation, take a few days off, no problem. I can handle the kids. It's one of those.
Super dad.
Yeah, there will be no problems on this vacation. So I decided to take my kids to this is in Tennessee, and we go to these locks on the Tennessee River where boats go up and down.
Oh yeah, right.
And we go out there, and I'm holding my little kids' hands. We're looking out,
and you have three little kids.
Yeah, and we're looking at the boats going up and down. Well, we turn around, and lo and behold, they locked us out there. All right, the lock people on the lock. Right?
Oh, no.
Yeah. A storm is coming in.
Okay,
right?
of course.
The water is now like 150 feet lower than it should be
right.
on both sides of us. We're trapped, right?
Right.
I'll never forget. So the first thing that happens is my daughter looks at me. She's probably like 7 or 8 or whatever. She goes, "You are in so much trouble. You are in so much trouble."
Oh,
like she's gonna fink me out here as soon as she gets the phone. She's calling.
She's calling mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The other ones are trying to jump into the swimming pool that's 150 feet.
Oh yeah, they're excited.
Right. And then I look over and there's tourists taking our picture, right?
Well, because
we're trapped out there.
Trapped.
Yeah, they're thinking they got the scoop on the disaster of all time. These people are going to get electrocuted from the storm coming in.
Right.
The kids are about to jump into the locks.
And people are thinking, look at this horrible dad.
Yeah. Oh, just cringe. Cringe for
cringe-worthy.
Oh my gosh. And then I had a couple funny ones with my dad that came to mind too. One was I decided one day I'm going to hitchhike, right?
Okay.
I remember putting a headband on. Man,
because you were cool.
I'm cool. I'm going to hitchhike. I walk like a mile from my house.
Okay, let me just ask this. Are you hitchhiking just to hitchhike?
Just to hitchike.
You had nowhere to go.
Nowhere. I was going to go like 10 miles, turn around and come back.
That's why you put the headband
Oh, yeah.
on.
I was ready. I was the guy. Right?
Yeah.
I stick my thumb out. I'm ready to hit California kind of
attitude. My gosh, you're killing me.
So sure enough, the first car stops. This is amazing. It's my dad, right?
Oh.
I'm like 16 years old. What am I doing?
Hey, what is it, Gary? What?
Get in the car. What are you doing? I was going to hitchhike like 10 miles and turn around, come home. Get in the car. You don't need to hitchhike.
That is hilarious.
And the second one was, I think it's just about the same age. I was a troublemaker there for a while. And we're in the backyard and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden he starts drinking this beer. And he like spits it out. He starts saying that he's been poisoned. Right?
Your dad?
Yeah. He's been poisoned. Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him. He goes, "What is with this beer? It's a can of beer. What is And all of a sudden I realized, I had poked a little hole in the bottom of the beer and drained it all out, thinking that no one's ever going to drink that. I never saw him drink beer. It was like, why is he drinking beer today? So here's like a Band-Aid or some piece of tape I put at the bottom. I filled it with like water or something.
Oh, you're killing me.
See, there's that moment you're caught in like a lie or something, right?
No, exactly.
Oh my gosh. It's just, goes on and on and on. Well, the one that my family brings up recently was, I'm a cheapskate. You know that there's
I do know. Yes.
That I'll drive distances. So we go to this restaurant, and the breakfast that I really wanted like dipping eggs, we call them, right? Sunny side up.
Dippy eggs, yes.
Yeah, dippy eggs, the toast, the bacon or whatever it is. And I go to order it, and the waitress goes, that doesn't come with toast. Right?
Yeah.
The deal I wanted, right? The cheapskate deal. so I said, 1 second. And I had to like reconsider my entire order.
Gary, you're embarrassing me right now.
I know. So that I didn't have to pay that $1 for the toast.
All right. I'm so embarrassed for you.
And the family's still like, they still can't believe that I changed
Did you get it? Did you not get it?
Changed my whole order so I could get something
because that 10 cents
or
for the bread was just way over the limit. So some of my most embarrassing moments have happened in my adulthood. A lot with jobs, a lot in front of coworkers and like that. So one time I had to go to a super important meeting in Atlanta, and it was with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, one of their regions, right? And I had to meet with the director and the secretary and all of these very high-level important people. And it was a very serious type of meeting. And it was my turn to speak.
Okay. Well, this is like regulatory people.
It's regulatory people.
This is serious stuff.
This is serious stuff.
People could pay lots of money if you messed up.
That's right. And so I am speaking on behalf of nursing homes. And they're all 12 people sitting at the table, all eyes on me. I have my notes in front of me, my pen in my hand, and I go through the huge dissertation. And I use my hands a lot when I talk. I get done. They thank me. The meeting goes on for another hour and a half. Gary, I walk out of that meeting and I go into the restroom. My ink pen had broke. I had ink all over my face, all the way across my face, down my neck. I had on a white blouse. Across my white blouse.
They noticed this, you think?
And then I look at my hands. Did I never look at my hands the whole time I was in that meeting? Never even looked at my own hands because I have ink all over my hands and I had on a off-white skirt. So not only did I have ink all over my face, all over my clothes, but I had handprints on my skirt. I could have died 1,000 deaths. How did I? And
did you have to go back in there again, or I hope?
Yes, nobody said a word. So now I go back in, embarrassed as can be, and now I have to over-explain, right?
Right. What?
And these are serious people. No, and I would have felt better had they laughed. No, they did laugh. They were too serious to
Serious
laugh.
bureaucrats.
Oh, it was awful. Awful.
Yes. Well, there's definitely ones that are tied in with work, and one ties in with you, Pam. This was several years ago. We worked together, and you were coming to the building I was at.
Okay.
And somehow a nurse says to me politely, before I was there a couple hours ahead of you, she says, "You have a little slight tear in your pants." Right? I'm thinking, I reach back there.
Oh, a little slight.
Yeah, a little. I think maybe I poked a hole with my seatbelt or something. I go in the bathroom. This thing is like a foot long. I mean,
this isn't a little slight hole.
So then I kind of start freaking out. Next thing you know, I'm like looking for staplers and Scotch tape. I was too far away to go back in. And I remember you showed up. I'm just sitting in a chair, and you said, "Well, you can get up and give us a tour." I said, "No, I can't.
Oh my gosh.
I can't get up at all."
As you're being punctured by the staples in your pants. Oh, Gary. Embarrassing.
It doesn't work, by the way. Scotch tape definitely doesn't work.
Oh my gosh.
The other thing that's classic, and I've only done this about once or twice, in the hotels, they have the shampoo and conditioner and the hand lotion, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going to work one time, and I go, "Gosh, my hair, I thought it would dry by now. It's been like an hour."
Yeah.
Well, it turns out I put hand lotion in my hair. I thought it was the shampoo. And it was just taking a long time to dry. Greasy looking.
Oh my gosh.
Hair.
So I have a really embarrassing one. I'm like even embarrassed to talk about it. So I'm in high school. I went out with this boy for the first time. We had such a great time. Of course, I had this big crush on him. He brought me home. He came in. We watched a little TV. And in my house, my parents' house, it was a ranch level house. And there was a little hallway from the living room to the hallway that went to the bedrooms. And there was a folding door that would close. Anyways, the door to go outside was in our kitchen next to the laundry room. So it's all very compact. Well, he had taken me out to eat. And of course, I ate food I never eat. And then I was nervous. So my stomach was a mess.
Right.
I mean, I had such an upset stomach, Gary.
Like something out of a movie.
No, it was really bad. So needless to say, I had all this grumbling.
Yeah, it was time. It was time.
And all I wanted to do was get this boy out of my house. How do I get this boy out of my house? And so finally I'm telling him, oh, my mom and dad were really adamant that, everyone, all my friends have to leave by a certain time. That wasn't true. It was only like 10 o'clock. And so I'm trying to get him to this door. And I'm standing there and he keeps talking about what a great night, Gary.
Crying. Oh.
Gary, I thought I might have an accident like right then and there. I was so miserable. My stomach was making the most loud noises you could imagine. And at one point he hesitated and listened and he hears
what's going on? Something going on.
I turned my head to down the hallway where that door is and I go, oh my God, my mom's up. You gotta go.
You gotta go push them out.
Pushed him out the door.
Thank goodness. There was going to be an emergency there.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sure we've done all these things that come to mind. One is, that comes to mind was, it's kind of interesting when you think about being late for stuff. Have you been late to anything before?
Oh, the story of my life.
And you try to sneak into a room and
Yes.
everyone, and there's 200 people and they all turn around because the door makes this ridiculous.
The door makes a noise and everybody looks at you.
Yeah, the door handle click, it's.
Or you think you're going in the back door of the room and you end up walking in the front door of the room.
Oh yeah, or anytime have you ever tried to opening a door and it's the other direction,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
supposed to push and pull and,
Yes.
and falling up staircases.
Yes.
I've done those types of things. But I know one thing that was just classic was I'm out with my sister and we end up going to this karaoke bar. It's not really a place to do karaoke, but it's a place in her town, small town. She's lived there her whole life. She's probably lived there 50 years or 40 years, right? And we're listening to music and we're watching, they're doing karaoke. They usually don't. This is fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I had one extra beer in my system.
Okay.
And I said, we should go sing karaoke.
Oh my gosh, Gary. I can't even picture you doing karaoke.
Right. I can't either. This was the one and only
Okay.
time. So we get up there and we're doing this Jackson Brown song, right?
Were you dancing and carrying
Just
on?
reading along. Right?
Okay.
And everyone in this place stopped. I mean, it was like something, again, it's in a movie.
Did they stop in amazement at how good you were?
No, the opposite. They could not believe this was happening.
Oh my gosh.
And you could hear people yelling out my sister's name
Oh,
because they couldn't believe she was up
Oh gosh.
there. Isn't that something?
That is hilarious. And you didn't think you'd be that embarrassed by doing it.
Whatever I was drinking, I instantly sobered up instantly.
Right.
And realized this is horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible. It's not, I don't think we were trying to be funny. I think we were just
Right.
trying to have a good time.
Have you ever been embarrassed for someone?
Oh, yeah.
Right. You are embarrassed for them.
Oh, I've got a couple. One was I'm at a nursing home years ago. I'm on a regional team. I come down there, talk with everybody, and then before I leave, I sit down again to talk to one last person for like a minute or two. Right?
Okay.
Before I leave, it's a long journey home, And I hear out in the hallway the administrator, and he's standing out there. He goes, "Now everything Gary just said, please don't do any of that stuff. Just it's nice that he came, but we're not going to do anything he just
Oh my gosh.
spent his whole day going over." And I said something like, "Steve, I can hear you." I kind of laughed to myself, but he was so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh.
And then, do you have the other one was this regional, and he was kind of a jerk. How's that sound?
Yes.
And he goes in, and by accident, as he goes into the administrator's office, he hits the PA system, and he says, without knowing it, "None of your staff deserve any kind of raise or anything.
Oh my gosh.
So don't bring it up. If they don't bring it up, just let." And somebody runs in the door at that point saying, "You're on the PA system. Everyone can hear you."
Oh, the worst. Well, Gary, one time, we're talking about work. One of a boss of mine sent an email out to our group, right? There were probably 15 of us that reported to her. Well, the email, of course, was controversial and was a little different message than what had been previously said. You name it, whatever thing that you want to be disgruntled about at work, right? Whatever event, it was in that email. So she sends the email. In the meantime, I'm communicating with one of my coworkers because we felt very strongly about another, this similar topic, in our opinions. So, Gary, I go ahead and I just dissect that email in the worst way possible to send to my friend. Gary, that email went to everybody in the company.
Wait, you did this, or who?
Yes, sir.
I was going to say that's I've had that happen where somebody runs in, they go, Gary, can you help me? I just hit an email, reply all of this. Somebody is terrible. I'm like, I just got it.
No.
I don't think you can get that back.
Oh my gosh, it went to everybody in the whole entire company. I wanted to die 1,000 deaths. I could not believe that I had done that. And then there's that, let's recall it. Well, they already read it, right?
Oh yeah, it's way too late. I know, working in healthcare, in nursing homes and assisted living, I'm surrounded by women. See, I think
you are.
And
yes.
And every once in a while they forget that there's a man sitting in the room, right?
Right.
And I've heard so many crazy things over the years.
Bet.
Relationships, women, health issues. How's this? And at some point, here's a little voice in the corner going, "Hey, I'm over here."
I'm here. I hear you.
And sometimes they're embarrassed. Sometimes they're like, "So what?"
Yeah. I used to be embarrassed for my mom. My mom would do some things that were hilarious that I would laugh till I cried about, but then I'd be embarrassed for her. Like the time we were going to church, walking up the steps, and Mom had on these fancy new shoes to wear to church, big heels. My mom got that heel stuck on the edge of the step.
Where'd she go?
My poor mom fell flat forward. She had runners up and down her nylons. Her hat, because she always wore a hat to church, flew off. Gary, I'm a little girl holding her hand. She never stopped holding my hand, so of course I went down with her.
Crashing down.
Oh my gosh. People are running over for help, and my mom, who had so much pride, no. My mom gets up. She has gravel embedded in her dress.
You're going to church, right? So
yes, we had to sit through church, and Gary,
picking gravel out.
I was that kid that couldn't stop laughing, that once I started laughing, I didn't know how to stop.
Oh, yeah.
I was shaking. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. My poor mom just wanted to probably kill me.
I've had that. Yeah, I wonder why it's in church that something like that
Oh,
happens.
stuff always happens.
My brother one time, silent as can be, he looks right at me and goes, Snicker bar. It was some phrase like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the pew was bouncing because I was laughing so hard. I couldn't believe, I'm like 10 years old. And I remember going to a couple weddings, and I get the giggles. I start laughing. It's dead serious.
Yes.
And, it's
So I hate to ask, but have you ever been to a funeral where something just sparked something funny in you?
Only the time I saw who I thought was dead.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Thought he was in the casket, and he turns out being
waving at you.
That was an earlier podcast, folks. You can
Oh
listen
my
to
gosh.
That. But I know a few other ones that came to mind. What's weird around our house, we watch a lot of television.
Yeah.
There's two things that happen to me. One is if something's real like patriotic or something, deals with a large live event, and it's just, I start like weeping over there.
Oh, like when
like,
you hear the national anthem.
In a big event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, royal weddings or something.
Royal weddings,
I'm
tear up.
I'm over there tearing up.
Okay,
right?
I can't even see you tearing up.
I'm trying, and my family's like, he's doing it again.
Yeah,
we're not going to say
crying.
it. And the other thing is, whenever there's been like an inappropriate scene in a movie, right? The rest of my family, they could care less, right? They're watching people take their shirts off or whatever happens to be. I'm over there. I'm cringing. I'm trying to get out of the room. I know this scene's probably going to come up or where it's going to. And it's just incredible how, embarrassing you can be in front of other people. I'm sure you've done it too. I've called people twice on the phone, right? Have you ever called somebody on the phone?
Okay, let's talk about that. You call them, you talk to them on the phone, and then you call them again. Do you talk or do you hang up?
Well, now with this call, they can see who's calling you.
It's you.
They can no longer do prank phone calls or anything.
No.
But I had somebody just the other night. I talked to this lady at like 2 p.m, and somebody must have had a butt dial because at midnight the phone's ringing on both ends again there too. I've had cell phones that go off by themselves. It's just a very interesting. And I'm sure you've run into this where you've have you ever sat on the wrong seat in a plane? This happened to me also.
Gary, yes, I have, and I just witnessed this last week. A person that totally went crazy, swearing
You're
swearing.
in my seat.
Yes.
What are you doing? We need somebody to get him out of my seat. Oh, my gosh. And just on and on. Well, Pam, what do we do, to kind of turn this into what?
We could go on
when
and
something
on.
becomes. I mean, how do we? Is there some techniques to tie in with?
So you're supposed to apologize when appropriate. Oh, I'm sorry. But then again, I'm sorry. I was the idiot. I'm sorry.
I think it's probably appropriate to say I'm sorry. And in some of these, if you really, you've said something.
If you're embarrassed by something that you did to someone else, you say you're sorry and be genuine about it.
Oh, I find now I laugh things off. I
laugh
start
things
to say,
off.
Sometimes people say, well, I'm sarcastic. I just roll with it. I said, I love sarcasm.
Yeah.
I would probably say the same thing if I was in your same spot there.
And then that said, never draw it out. Don't come out and say,
yeah, just get over it.
Get over it.
Have you ever been in denial when something like that happens? Oh, I don't know if that really happened the way you've explained it. Like you said, your ink all over yourself. I'm like, if I was there, oh, that's a little dramatic. Maybe you had a few spots, Pam.
No, it was dramatic.
Down the kind of play. But quickly move past it, I'm sure, is the other thing. You're changing the subject. I'm sure you've been in it. Have you ever been in a situation I had recently, not recently, but it comes to mind recently, where I'm not paying attention to a conference call where there's a bunch of people on, and they're all giving reports of their location.
Yeah.
And,
and you're in the pool.
And I'm not paying any attention, but I'm the one that's kind of the one saying, "Oh, good,
Yeah,
great."
yeah. Are you goofing off on that call?
And somebody goes, blah blah blah. They're telling me their story.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, really good. That's good to hear." And then they go, "He died." Right?
Oh.
They'd repeated it twice.
Oh my god!
And I wasn't paying attention. I'm going, "Oh, that's not good."
I have been on conference calls before where there's a disruption in the background that clearly is showing that I'm somewhere else, right? And then the worst part about it is when somebody, the moderator of the call, says, "Pam, could you mute your phone?"
Oh.
And you go, "Oh, gosh,
I'm
that's
sure
awful."
lots of things are picked up on it. But really, changing subjects, I think that's always good too, especially if somebody else does something embarrassing. Change the subject, move on, those types of things. It's just,
Don't you find, Gary, that the older we get, the more we are able to laugh